post videos regularly? Like the same 4. Okay. Are you seeing this? That when you do the videos, you get a lot more feedback? Okay, good. I have a couple agents, actually 3 agents that I manage their social media for, and all of them were resistant to doing it. Okay. One of them, I've got her out there standing on curbs and walking through houses, and she's getting a ton of likes and a ton of just interactions when she's out. So she runs into people and they'll say to her, "Oh, I saw your video. I really liked it." And so she's getting all this positive feedback, and now she's starting to send me videos all the time. And if you're resistant to being on camera, there's so many ways around that. So you can do a video walkthrough of a house and I never even see your face. You know, just walk through the front door and walk through the house, and you don't ever have to be on camera if that's not your thing.
You have to get permission from the homeowners to video their home?
No, if you're their listing agent and you have that marketing capability for their home, you can do that. Yeah, that's part of it. Would be the same if you hired a videographer to come through and video their home. You know, all that's under the marketing of a house. Don't think of Facebook as a giant advertisement. So sometimes real estate agents will only post what they've listed or sold, but they never post anything else. You need to think bigger than that. Think of yourself as an expert that you are, and post things that any homeowner would want to know. Could be an article on decluttering, could be an article on how to get a better credit score, could be an article on handyman, whatever it is. So you are an expert, and you do more than buy and sell homes. You know, you do more than that transaction on the last day. Think of all that work that you do that leads up to that closing. That's the story you want to tell people. You want to take them along on that journey of, you know, I'm meeting somebody at the house today, they're doing the inspection, or whatever it is that you're doing. People want to see that, and then there might be some little piece of information there that they could use. We've been encouraging realtors to do what we call expert videos. I'm going to show you some of that later, but where you're in a house or at your office somewhere that has a good backspace for you, and you interview a mortgage guy and give some information about a first-time home buying program, or could be some sticky credit issues, because we're starting to see those people that maybe declared bankruptcy in 2008, 2009 starting to think about coming back into the housing market, and they think that they can't. They think that, no, my credit's too bad, or my whatever, and it turns out that they can. And there are guidelines, you know, for different programs, FHA, conventional VA. But don't think of it as a giant advertisement. You want to have authentic engagement. Second point, whatever you post should be valuable. So if you're just posting to post, don't just move that to the side. You're just trying to get something out there because you haven't posted in 3 days, that's not it, okay? It has to be valuable, useful, timely, this is important, and memorable. So they think about it later. And a video is something they always think about later. You know, that's why we focus our energy there. If it doesn't meet that criteria, I wouldn't post it. I would just let it go. And I'm sure you're familiar with people who post and you just feel like you're just getting, sometimes multi-level marketers do this. Craig and I were talking. So you want to buy whatever their product is, maybe you bought it once. And now you get daily updates on a certain kind of lipstick or a certain kind of, I don't know, transformational product or whatever it is, and you can't really, you have to unfollow them to get rid of the content. So I have down here my examples, like dog groomer. So when you see this, if you download it from Facebook, you remember it. But we have a great dog groomer. Love our dog groomer. And on that Huntersville No Rules, do you know what I'm talking about? It's a big group, okay. People were asking for recommendations for dog groomers, and someone recommended our dog groomer. I gave her a little like, and like, yeah, she's the best, you know, kind of thing. But somebody said something bad about her in the comments. Somebody said, oh, I don't like her. She charged too much to, you know, blah. And people rushed in and said, oh no, she's terrific. I don't know why you would say that, but I've been taking my dog there for 2 years. So what she had done is she had gone from just like a simple business Facebook presence to somebody really advocating for her. So that somebody would come in behind and say, she's fantastic, you know, and she never even jumped into the conversation. I know she was watching it because she was tagged. So I know that she saw what was happening. But you want to be that. And then donuts. So the donut one is when they opened up Duck Donuts, oh my word. So I got a text message from a former student telling me they were getting ready to open. And I live like a half a mile from there. So I did what any donut lover does. I got in my car and drove over there. And they were not open, but they were doing a training day for people. And the manager cracked open the door, because I was looking in. And he asked me, you know, what I was doing. I said, somebody said there were free donuts. He's like, no, there's no free donuts, but we're opening tomorrow at, I think it was 8 a.m. I'm like, great, thank you. So I went home and I did just a little post. And I happened to already have pictures of Duck Donuts in my, because I blogged about them. So I put the picture of the donuts, I don't know, maybe 4 lines of copy, and made that I put it on a page that I managed, okay? And then I shared it to the Huntersville No Rules group, and it went bananas, because nobody knew they were opening the next day. And so I got like 40,000 people viewing that one thing. They were sharing it. So it was timing. I hit it just at the right moment because people were watching it and they'd been told it was opening on Monday, but that was a hard open. They didn't know it was opening on Saturday for a soft open. Saturday morning, we were lined up around the block because of that post.
Did you get a free donut?
Did not get a free donut. But it taught me something, you know, just how important that timing was. So I tested it again last week when they opened Metro Diner. I went in there at an odd time, 2:30, to have lunch so I could get in, ate my meal, took pictures of it, posted it, got some reactions from the meal, but then I grabbed those and like blogged about it later. But that original post of my meal, again, it was 4,000 people this time. Sharing it, looking at it, talking about it, the whole thing. So it's timing. Timing has a lot to do with, you know, if there's something in the news that's timely for your real estate business, that's the time to jump in and say something about it, okay? If there's, you know, rates have dropped or, if, I don't know, something that's super timely, you jump in first. You share it to the right place. It's going to pick up some traction, okay? And those are my 3 examples. Kind of tells you a lot about me. Make sure your about section is filled out. Okay, so I'm going to, do you all know where your about section is on your page? Mm-hmm. You do? Okay. So that about section is, it is indexed by Google, okay? So you want to make sure, this one has a very small one. You want to make sure that it really captures your brand perfectly so that when Google indexes it, it's pulling in the right information, okay? It's not a throwaway. Usually when I do them for real estate companies, I use all of the words, you know, real estate, home buying, first time home buyers, loans. I use all of those hot words and just fill it. It's a very small amount of space. You can really only write 2 small sentences. But you want to make sure that you absolutely fill that in correctly. This is a site that I manage, so I'm going to go in here really quick. Do you all use your Insights button? Do you even know what that is? Okay. So if I go up there to Insights, I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click on People. Yeah, this is on a business page. So for this site that I manage, it's lifestyle things for Charlotte to Lake Norman, so food, booze, stuff to do. Okay. 83% of the people who engage and like my page are women. That's super important to me. So if I run an ad through Facebook, I'm probably just going to target women. Just going to hit the women button on the thing. I also know that I'm tracking really well between like the 35 to 54 group. You can even add the 25 to 54 group. But I might also do a target like that on Facebook. I would cut down my demographic because these are the people that seem to enjoy my page. So I'm going to attract more of them. I'm not probably going to attract many in the 18 to 24 range. I'm not going to attract the 55 and older. They're not interested as much in food, booze, and stuff to do on the weekends. And it's also going to tell me where I'm pulling from. So I'm pulling really heavy from Huntersville and Charlotte and Cornelius, Mooresville, and then it tapers off. And again, that's an accurate reflection of my content. I post very heavy about things that are going on in Lake Norman. Charlotte's, I try to, but it's almost like an afterthought. Like I'm in Uptown, I'm having dinner, I'm taking pictures, that kind of a thing. But this accurately reflects the content I'm putting up there. And also give you your language demographics if that's important to you. And where people are. So all of mine are in the United States except for one Canadian person who follows the page. But this is super important for ads. You want to know who's already engaging in your page. Do any of you run Facebook ads? You do that? Okay. So you know when you go into the demographics, it gives you all those choices. Ages, sex, and income levels, all these sorts of things. It even gives you a choice called likely to move. Have you seen that one? Likely to move is your most important one because they've actually figured out, Facebook has figured out when people are 6 months away from moving. By the way they post on Facebook and the interactions they're having with people, they figure out this person is likely to move. They haven't identified themselves. They haven't pushed a button that says likely to move. Facebook is drawing a conclusion. This person is 6 months away from a move. So that one is a super good one. And there are other ones that I use in here. Page views, you can go in, there's some good information in there, but if you just go down and look, it can give you all kinds of overviews, insights. I'm going to go up here a little bit. These are some posts that I've done on the Charlotte to Lake Norman page. I'm primarily photo-based. It's almost like a running Instagram account out of Facebook. But I can see that's the one on the Metro Diner. So I've got 4,500 people who've seen that post. There's about 400 and some odd people who follow the page. So if I'm getting over 150, I'm very happy to get 150 people viewing that page. That's a good day for me. This is not an original video, so that one's not tracking as high as it could, but it was at 193. But I go through all of this, and I take a look at what people like, and then I adjust going forward. And for Charlotte to Lake Norman, when I do the Instagram page, if I post a picture of a cocktail, love that. Okay. On this page on Facebook, they like food more. So I'm more likely to put more food here and more cocktails there. That's just the kind of group that it divides across. But this information is helpful. It will also tell me when I posted, and you can get some good ideas from there too. Like this post went, got more views at a certain time of day. You're going to find a more optimal time of day to post. In general, Thursdays are maybe your best day to post in general, and in the afternoon. So like a Thursday 3 o'clock post. I don't know why that is, but I assume it's because it's going into the weekend. People are starting to log back into their Facebook. They've been working, and Thursday afternoons when they start to think about going back in. Yes, question.
How often should we be posting without it being annoying and,
That's a great question. So, I'm going to draw a little picture on my whiteboard. Okay, so, and this will lead up to your question.
Okay.
So let's say you followed 8 pages on Facebook, okay? You followed a lot more, you probably followed 30. And you're seeing 100% of the LePage Johnson stuff You're seeing 100% of your best friend's business or whatever because you're always engaging. And then it starts to drop off, 80, 70, 30. It's content you're not even seeing, right? That's what's happening. So you're trying to, this is happening to you, this is your experience. It's also happening the other way. So you're trying to get into everyone's 80 to 20% so that Facebook will show them your content, okay? And the way to do that is, it's not necessarily a number, like how many times a day should I post. It's looking at that information and seeing if it's called an edge mark, seeing that your stuff is moving up and that they're showing it to people, okay? I've even tried before, I've had my numbers start to fall back a little bit, and so I'll wait a few days and won't post anything. And then I'll go back in with something really good. Because I'm trying to get that number back up and just sort of tell Facebook, hey, I'm posting great content again. And people will start to share or like it, and that tells Facebook they want to see it, okay? So sometimes I'll pull back a little bit, but usually for real estate agents, what I tell them is it's 5 to 8 times a week. That's sort of like just kind of a baseline, but it could be a little less than that, it could be a little more, okay? Of those 5 to 8 times a week, when you share over to your personal profile, right, because you have a separate business, your personal profile shouldn't have more than 20% of your business stuff running through it.
Right.
Otherwise, it feels like a business page. And some people have trouble with that 20% number. I would think of that as about 3 times a month. And these are big wins you're sharing. So this would be like closed on an amazing house, or you have some super, really great photograph of something. You want to save those for, just to really hit them with something good, not just an article share that's kind of like whatever. I will say I've been experimenting a little bit with the DuPont registry. Do you guys follow the DuPont registry online? It's a good one, DuPont registry. So a friend of mine manages their social media, and when I share their posts, I get a disproportionate number of looks. So I think Facebook somehow logs the DuPont registry as being valuable content, and I see a lot more engagement. And I have to follow it. They weren't listing North Carolina homes. If you follow it pretty regularly, they just weren't. So I sent them a message, and I said, could you throw up some North Carolina homes? I want to be content to share. And they started throwing up North Carolina houses. So there's a little rush of them in the last 2 weeks. There were like 4 North Carolina houses that went up. Now, it's kind of falling back a little bit. But that's a good one to follow. It's called the DuPont Registry, something of homes. I can't remember the full name of it. But that's a really good one to follow. The other thing that's going to help you get more followers is posting on other people's content. So you want to be posting on 10 pages about 3 times a day. Now that sounds like a lot, right? But I did a couple in my car this morning before I came in here. It helps their edge mark go up, okay? So if I like their stuff, if I post a little comment, that helps them, right? And when you post a comment, you want it to be organic, which is hard to get your head around when you're trying to just, I need to do this, I need to just do this and, knock it off. But Facebook understands if it's a good comment or not. So a comment like, great, doesn't log the same as, oh, I really hope they move the blue line all the way up to Huntersville. Or, a whole sentence. And you want to get at least 4 words. Okay, that's sort of your break point if you can get to 4 words, but really just write a sentence, So happy to see you doing so well, or just something. Or I was thinking the same thing, or just try to make it a sentence. That boosts them, just like you're hoping people will comment on your stuff and boost yours up a little bit. So we say, you want to, the other thing is keep commenting on the same pages. Don't like, oh, I have 100 pages I comment on. You can't make impact on 100. Choose 10 go in, focus on that, because you're building a relationship with that brand or that person or whatever it is. Don't think you have to go to 100. The way I like to think of it is you're an this is back to posting, which we're going to go to next, but you're an expert, okay? You just put content out there with nothing said about it. You haven't shown insight. You've just shown content. So if I'll show you one here. If I do, this is one on soup. So if I post a picture of the soup, I actually borrowed this from Charlotte Agenda. I could have just shared it and been done with it, but I didn't. I actually stole their photograph, gave them the photo cred, and wrote a little text at the top. The text at the top shows that I have insight. The post shows expertise. The text shows insight. And if you're reposting an article or reposting something, that may be all they read. They may never hit a link and follow. 99% of the time they don't hit links and follow. This is your only chance to talk to your customer. The only chance to present your branding, the way that you speak, your unique narrative voice to someone. That's the only chance you have. So you should take advantage of writing just a sentence. Sometimes I get a little carried away, but you don't have to get carried away. A sentence, even between like 40 and 60 characters. So characters, not words, characters. So you can keep it short even and just get in and out. But those posts are going to do better for you than just a share, all right? And this is all about getting more followers. The last thing is you can think about running a promotion.
Okay.
Have any of you run a promotion with any success? You felt like it worked?
Mm-hmm.
What kind did you do?
Like I'll do, when I have a listing or an open house, I'll share it and kind of do a promotion out to reach more people.
Like so what do they have to do? Like share it with a friend, enter a contest?
Right, and you can do a giveaway
Yes.
with like a bag or
Yes.
something you're giving away.
So that's a great way to do that. So you do a gift card, a bag. It doesn't have to be a high cost item, but you're paying $30 to $50 for whatever you're giving away, and you're getting all this traffic on your site from people just tagging friends. Sometimes you're just like my post and tag a friend, or like my, some sort of action they have to take that helps your edge mark go up. It's $30 to $50, or you may even have like a freebie. It doesn't even cost you anything. Something you already have that you can just
Re-gift.
or re-gift. Here it is.
It's not for Christmas.
kind of a thing.
Everyone's rejected.
But the promotions do really well. There's an agent in Mooresville who does a recurring promotion. She has a bench, like a logo on it. I don't even know where it is, somewhere in Denver. And the promotion is always to take your picture on the bench. So people send in their photos and tag her in it, and then she does a drawing once a month.
No, that's a cool idea.
And she said to people, if you don't want your photo on my Facebook or my Instagram, I understand, but if you'll just send it in a direct message, I'll enter you in the contest. So if you're the type that doesn't want to sit on a bench, take a selfie. And then she does the drawing once a month live on Facebook and pulls their name out and says, oh, it's Susan, she's getting a $50 gift certificate to Lowe's or whatever it is, kind of a thing. So you can kind of get creative about that, but I engage in that all the time, and I know what they're doing. So that's what I said earlier about expertise and insight equals engagement. Don't repost something that any real estate agent, you need to put your own branding on it. And I'll keep saying this over and over again. That's all you remember is that from being here. That's pretty good. All right, and these are examples of things that you could do that I stole. You could do a simple image of a pier, like on a lake, right? And just put a little, don't you want this? Or wouldn't you rather be on the lake? Something like that. Just a simple photo with a simple message. People love the aspirational living. Maybe because I'm into my house and everything, but if somebody posts a picture of a unique kitchen, I'm all over the kitchen thing, trying to figure out like why it's so beautiful and why mine is not. and how mine can look a little bit like theirs without spending the full, $70,000. And bathrooms. So if I see a great bathroom, we linger on it. And maybe more of a female than a male thing. I get that. I don't think George is lingering on beautiful bathrooms. George is like, no, I'm not. But this person got 424 likes, 35 comments, 325 shares. That's like a huge, huge number. And you can take that photo yourself. You don't have to rely on anybody else to take it. You're standing on the back of a listing you already have, or you're at an open house. Just take a picture. You could do a multiple choice question. So this one came from MSN. Actually, I did this one. Huh, this one's fun. Okay. So I did a multiple choice question. I put this up. This design trend where you put black around windows is new. It's like, all the women are like, so I'm like, I'll put that photo up, show them what it looks like, do a simple ABCD. It showed it to 248 people. Okay. The reason that number is significant to me, it is more than the people who like her page. Because I just started her page about a month ago, so we don't have it up where we want it. It only has about 200 people following it right now. So Facebook liked the content so much, it was showing it to people who don't even follow her page. So when I see the number go up above my number of likes, I hover on that and think, I'm going to do another one of these next week. Because Facebook's liking that content, and they're showing it to basically all the people who follow her, and then some. More likely. And that came from MSN.com. There's a link to the article. Very few people are going to hit the link. Most people are just going to read the A, B, C, D, E. Next one would be a holiday. We just had Veterans Day. I saw a lot of Veterans Day posts. I know that so IQ Financial did an email. So we sent out through our MailChimp, we just sent out a basic, Veterans Day email. And George is a veteran, so, that's something that's important to us and most people. And then he also did a little Facebook video where he was just standing there in the office and thanking veterans for their service, and said, I'm going to call every single one of my borrowers, past and present, and thank them for their service today. And he did that. He got on the phone. I think there were 15 people in the CRM who he had done loans for that he knew were veterans, and he called each one of them. And I think he said 14 out of 15 answered the phone. Like, physically picked up the phone when he called. So if you're doing something like that, anyway, just put a little mention of it on Facebook. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could just be a photo of you. It could be the little video like George did. We also, every year, we make a big deal out of the Marine Corps birthday at our house. It's a thing. It's in the Marine Corps. So if that's a thing for you to celebrate the Marine Corps birthday every year, you can put that up there. And the unofficial holidays, National Margarita Day, National Donut Day, National Take Your Child to Work Day, Kindness Day, just whatever it is. If you feel strongly about the kind of day that it is, coffee day, whatever. Those are ones I feel strongly about, the donuts and the margaritas. I would definitely post on those days. And she got 3,200 likes, 46 comments, and 1,200 shares. So that's a lot. Okay, this is a lot of information. Again, you can go back and look at it on the Facebook page. But video, which I thought I would be talking more about. These are just ideas. You could interview a handyman, a decluttering expert, an interior decorator, a landscaper, a home inspector, a mortgage consultant. I saw one the other day where there was a mortgage person next to a real estate agent, next to a builder, standing at the front door, and they introduced each other, and then they walked into the house. And the builder went through the house and talked about the features of the house. That's a great video. And the reason, one of the reasons that's so good, I want you to think about it. There's a mortgage person, a real estate agent, and a builder. They all have Facebook pages, right? So that person is tagging everyone that's with them and then reaching all of their Facebook audience. Because you don't want to always just keep talking to the same people over and over again. If you can tag your mortgage guy and see all of his stuff and your builder guy and get all their stuff, that's good for you. So that's one of the reasons we like those videos as well. A video showing of a home. One piece of advice there. So I learned this the hard way when I started doing videos. Came home and George was like, that hurt my head. Like, you're moving so fast, and I'm from Detroit, and sometimes I talk too quickly. And he's like, the talking and the moving, and there's just so much going on. So now when I walk into a space, I really slow it down because people want to see it. And generally, what you do is you move and stop on something. So you're stopping on a kitchen, and you're not still moving and panning and moving and panning. So you move into the kitchen, stop, talk about the kitchen, don't move it at all, and then you move again into another room. You pan around and you stop, and you start talking again. Hopefully not as quickly as I talk, a little bit slower. But that little trick, and we know this. If you make little videos on Ripple, there's a 3 or 4 second rule. It shows you an image for about 3 to 4 seconds. And that's sort of like a graphic artist standard. Is people don't focus in a second, they can't see the image. It blinks and it's gone. You need to stay on it for 4 seconds for someone to completely absorb what they're seeing. So if you can't figure out how long to stay on something, just count to 4 in your head, 4 or 5, and move on.
How long should the video be?
So that can vary quite a bit. If you're going to post to Instagram as well, it has to be 60 seconds or less, because Instagram won't take more than a minute. And if you're doing a Facebook Live, those need to be longer, because it takes people a while to find them and get onto them. So those could be anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. But just a simple walk through a house, like 3 to 4 minutes. Even less. I saw someone do one the other day in about 2 minutes. And I was engaged the whole time. I watched her, and she had on clanky shoes, so you may want to think about that too. She was clanking through the house, and I could hear, maybe take off your shoes. The number one reason people will migrate away from your video is sound. So if your sound is really bad, like you're standing on the beach, let's say, the sound is always going to be bad on the beach because there's wind, there's all kinds of ambient noise. I can't even hear what you're saying. So people will forgive maybe a little bit of a blurry image, something like that. They'll hang with you. They will not forgive bad sound quality. They will navigate away as fast as they can. So if you're doing a lot of video, it's worth investing in the external mic. So we have one. George swears by it. He plugs it into his phone, and then it doesn't pick up all the ambient noise. So it doesn't sound like you're in a cave. It creates really beautiful sound. Just something to remember. And last one would be pictures of people and there's in front of their houses. So this is important too. If you post only pictures of houses and I never see people, that doesn't tell a great story, okay? The way story works, storyteller, is you connect to other people's stories. So if I see a couple at a closing table and they look happy, I connect more to that than a photo of their house. Like that photo of their house may or may not be appealing to me. A photo of people is very appealing. So the more you can get them to take a photo at a closing table in front of their house. I read a great article the other day about millennials, and they love the photo op at the house. So they will stage it. They'll come ready. If you tell them ahead of time, they'll come ready. You know, hearing each other across the threshold, or like sitting in an empty living room with just like a lawn chair. They'll come up with something because they understand social media and they know you're going to share it, and they want their friends to see something clever. And the article I read led with this story. An agent showed up at a house a young woman had just bought and said, I just need to take a photo of you in front of the house. And she was like, no, I don't have my eyelashes on. And so he said, well, I'll go to CVS and buy you some. She's like, no, I have a certain brand. I need that pair. And he waited at the house for an hour. She went home, she put on her face, she came back in a different outfit and took it. But she knew that one image was going to be shared to something called, I think it's called Colorado First Time Home Buyers. And she knew the following of that group. She was single, so like a little opportunity there. And she wanted to make a great impression. And the article was filled with stories like that. People understand, the millennials really understanding this was a representation of who they were. And they wanted to put the best image out there. So think about people more than like bricks and mortar. Because your business is really about people. And like fitting a house to a lifestyle, fitting a house to a family. It's not as much about bricks and mortar when you really think about it. And people will connect to those stories better. Are there any, I know that's a lot of text. I'll show you where to find that later. Is there any question about that?
Yes, I remember you showed me once
Yeah.
before, but whenever you go to share somebody else's and then you want to write your own thing, where do you go to
So,
do that?
what you're going to do, if you want to share somebody else's content, it's going to be, I can never see this little thing flying around here. There it is. It's right here. So if I hit that, I'm going to hit share to a page, and that's going to give me all kinds of options. So if I hit share to a page, I can share it to a page I manage. Hit that little tick mark. I can share to my timeline. I can share to a friend's timeline, a group, an event, a page I manage. I can send it a message. So I usually am sharing to a group or a page I manage. And then if I go up here and I don't want to share it to Charlotte to Norman, if I want to share it to something else, and then I just highlight whatever it is I'm looking for. Does that make sense?
And then you just type whatever you want to say
Yep.
in the box.
Yeah, so if I wanted to share it to Charlotte Family Living, I would just go up here and type a little message. And then I would hit the blue post button, which I'm not going to do because I just shared this on Charlotte Family. So I'm not going to share that again. This is, I'll just show you this really quickly. I tagged the restaurant and they saw it and liked my content, which is what I was hoping for. I'm always hoping to make that little connection. That's what I was talking about. I'm trying to reach everyone who follows their page, which I did, so they saw it and acknowledged it. Some people have filters where it doesn't share automatically. They have to hit a button for it to share to their page. They obviously either don't have those filters on or hit the button. So that was good for me. Are there any other questions? You know how to do everything. That's good. That's good. Couple little notes. Light photos get more traction than dark ones. If you're in a dark room, don't even bother. And I noticed that when I started taking photos for Charlotte to Lake Norman, sometimes I would be in a very dark space and I'd have to use a flash to get a picture of it, and they never got as much traction. You know, it was a dark photo of a drink. It just didn't look very good.
Do you use your iPhone or do you have a camera?
I use my iPhone. In fact, I got my iPhone specifically because of the picture taking capability. And then I went online and watched videos about how to take great photos with your iPhone, which is a whole other thing. Say I'm taking a picture of myself. Where would I be in the frame? Do you guys know where to put the person's head?
In that little square thing. In the middle.
What's in the
The
background?
rule of
Huh?
thirds.
What's in the background?
Okay, so let's say there's a Lake Norman's in the background. They're standing on a pier. Where do they go?
Bottom left.
Third.
Yeah.
Third.
So all photography is based on a grid, right? That's your grid. You'll notice this. Once I say this to you, if you watch TV a lot, like Netflix or movies or whatever, you'll be like, I never noticed that the videographer was doing that. If this is the lake, you don't want to be in the middle. You don't want to break apart a background image. You want to be part of it, not in the middle of it, like standing in the center of it. And also, if I'm over here, I'm facing this way, like I'm walking into the frame, right? And if I'm over here, I'm facing this way, because you're always walking into the frame toward the camera. The other thing is, if I'm here and I'm walking into the frame, so think about it. If I'm straight ahead, that's like the widest, most unflattering part of me. Like, if I'm walking into a frame, it's got a little bit better angle. Last thing about that, if you do multiple photos, the photo you hit first loads the biggest space, right? So think about the order that you're putting your photos in. So here's another kind of post you could do. If you do any post-licensing classes, like your class this morning, you can take a picture of yourself. I saw Craig doing it this morning in the corner. He's doing a little video. Hey, I'm here with Paige Johnson. We're getting ready to
I was inside.
Yeah. I was actually watching him. Like, I wonder how he's, how that's going.
You'll see it.
You'll see. I'll see it. Yeah. And that just tells people you're keeping current. Like, I'm always educating myself. I'm always trying to figure it out. I'm always getting a little bit better at my job. And it's organic. Like, you're there in the moment. You take the picture, and it feels true. Yeah.
If I could add to that, I mean, this is kind of a good video tip. Everybody's, Elizabeth mentioned it earlier, everybody's afraid to put themselves on video. Well, if you put yourself in the right side, the correct part of the frame, they're not watching you.
Right. Yeah.
They're watching what's going on in the background, especially if there's movement. So that's, don't worry about them seeing you. They're not looking at you. They're looking behind.
It is a barrier. When I first started doing videos, I'm like, well, not today. I'm not doing it
Consistency.
today.
You just got to do it.
But you just throw it up there, and people are rooting for you. They're not looking at you critically. They know it's hard to do, so they're rooting for you. It's the opposite of what we always think. We think, well, they notice, I'm down a few pounds and my hair isn't right or whatever. They don't care. So any kind of he has some hashtags up here. Do you all use hashtags on Facebook? Yeah, you really only need to use a couple. They're not a big deal on Facebook. They're a huge deal on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you need to use at least 11. Yeah, it's a lot, because that's how people find you.
Gotcha.
So a hashtag is a search boolean. It draws people to your thing. So I actually have a stack of hashtags, probably about 25 of them, that we always use for the mortgage business, and I just keep them on my phone in my notes, and then I go in and just copy and paste them. I just use them over and over. Or if I find a new one that I want to use, I'll go ahead and do that on Instagram. But here, you really only need to use a couple. And there's even research that shows once you get past 2, it actually has a declining effect. So I know that seems weird, but I don't know, maybe it starts to look garbagey or something, and the Instagram people don't care about that, because that's how they find you. But generally, a lot of people will tag their broker in charge, so maybe they would tag with Paige Johnson, and a lot of people have their own hashtag, and he routinely uses Jason South Florida. He uses it so much that I told him I'm starting to think of that as his name. Like, when I think about him, or it's Jason South Florida on the phone. I already showed you how to use the metrics. Remember, I went in there and showed you what people were doing. And I just showed you how to use a hashtag. Unique, short, consistent, 2 or 3. Does everyone understand a hashtag? You know what it does? Okay. Used to be, when I started this a few months ago, I would ask, and people thought it was a way of saying something funny. Like, hashtag, whatever. I'm like, well, It's not really what it is. It's a search engine, like a card catalog, an interior card catalog kind of thing. And then they're like, oh. I thought it was a way of sort of saying, not saying something. And you all know how to tag someone. Do the little @ symbol, start to type their name or the name of their business until you see it come up, okay? All right, I'm gonna go back really quick. Oops. And show, oh great, I'm gonna go to the first one. There we go. And I'll show you a couple things. So, this is somebody's site that I do. She went with just a clean banner, which if you don't have an image that you're absolutely in love with, I love this trend. There's a few reasons I love it. One, you get the sizing right. It sizes really well on mobile. So if I get her logo in exactly the right place and I pull it up on a mobile device, it looks the same. If I do an image or do multiple images, the things I get up on my mobile device look weird, collagey looking, cut off. So this is the trend that I'm working with right now. It's just basically putting language together, almost like a logo for her, that's clean and fresh looking, and I don't have to constantly update it with a new photo of a house or whatever. Houses are fine too, as long as it's maybe one house, so your eye knows where to land. That's another photography tip. Does your eye know where to land? So if you put too much in a photograph and people can't figure out where the focal point is, their eye will just sort of keep scooping around. I always use the analogy of maybe, I like to accessorize, so I tend to, when I used to teach school, it was cold in the building, freezing. I wore wrist warmers to school every day. I wore a scarf to school every day, and boots. I just was like covered like head to toe and stuff. You didn't even know where your eye was supposed to land when you looked at me because there was just so much stuff going on, you know, but I was warm. I was just tired. I had a heater in my room under my desk to keep me warm. It's the same thing with a photograph. If you have so much going on in the photograph, people don't know where their eye is supposed to land. Another good analogy is group photos. So group photos in general are not great, right? So you have 6 people lined up. You don't know, like, 3 is good. 3 is like a good number, 6 bad. This is what I was talking about when you do a home tour with an expert.
Hey everybody, Jason Weatherington with Los Olas Real Estate Professionals. Today I'm at 1029 Southeast 12th Way here in Rio Vista, one of the most desirable and sought after neighborhoods in all of Fort Lauderdale. I'm joined today by my lifelong friend, I can say that, right? Yeah? Okay, friend. And Anthony Rocco. Anthony and his family have owned and operated the Kitchen Works here in Fort Lauderdale for how long now? 28 years. And Anthony's going to share with us some of the great features here in this beautiful custom kitchen that they have designed here at 1029 Southeast 12th Way. So I'm going to turn it over to Anthony now, and he's going to give us a little walkthrough.
All right, so what we have here is a transitional shaker style modern kitchen. We did custom foot here. The customer is going to
Okay, so I think you can see where that's going. I probably watched this video a half a dozen times, even though the sound quality is not exactly what I would like. I was super interested in the custom kitchen. And he opens drawers, he opens every single thing and explains why this oven, why this double oven, why this refrigerator, why it's designed a certain way. Everything you would ever want to know about a custom kitchen, he walks you through it. I think the video is 6 minutes long. It's gotten 1,300 views. He tagged his friend at Kitchen Works. He tagged his friend Anthony, and Anthony's wife is Susan. Tagged them as well to reach their personal profiles, their business, everything. And something like this has a really high shelf life. So you could put that up on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn. 8 months later, pull it back out and put it up again. It's still relevant. People are still wanting custom kitchens. So any video you do with an expert has a much higher shelf life than, say, a walkthrough of a house. And you can throw these up on YouTube as well. Do you use YouTube? Craig's. So if you're not using YouTube, you may want to think about using it because that's where the millennials go. If you have sons or daughters in their 20s, so I have a 20-year-old son, he doesn't watch TV.
Yeah, they don't at
I
all.
watch YouTube.
He watches YouTube literally constantly. So if I go in there, he's always on his computer doing something. But if he wanted information, he would watch a YouTube video. He's been researching Bitcoin lately, and so he's always like, he wants to understand it. I don't understand it at all because I don't understand how they get value. It just makes absolutely no sense to me. But he's likely to watch a video and keep watching until he understands something rather than like Google an article. So if you think about that in terms of real estate, as your millennials start to come into the market, that's what you're going to see. And I saw an article, it actually posted today, I think it was Charlotte Agenda. They do that where somebody keeps track of their budget for the week. You ever seen that? I'm like fascinated by that. So today's budget person makes $70,000 a year. She is 24. I'm like, what? You know, I'm like looking through there and seeing, well, she has like a high-end sort of job, and I was looking at how she spent her money. But she had bought a house as like a 24-year-old because some of the millennials are making really good money and they want a house. Oh, not a house, I think she had a condo in Uptown. But that's the lifestyle that they want, and that's what she could afford. But she had gone through, and every time she had bought something, if she'd been out having drinks, if she went to Aldi's, and you got to see what she spent on food every week. You guys have never seen these? Fascinated. The one they did last time, somebody, millennial, was making $40,000, and she was talking about bringing her own lunch to work. Oh. She's making choices to make that money work, but I'll post that in our Facebook page. So the Facebook page is called Agent Experts, if you want to follow us. It's Agent Experts, no E, so AGENTX. It's a group. You want to follow the group. The page is a little bit different. And the group, I go in there and post content that real estate agents can use. So if you're having trouble curating content, I go in there, like this morning I put this thing in about the Blue Line, which is supposed to open in March. So it'll run from UNCC, where my son is, into Uptown. I actually care about that, so, and I know that a lot of people in this area do as well. So I go in there and I put in content that they can use. Here's the invitation to the workshop this morning. This is really great. I just put this up the other day. This is a graphic for where people are moving from. If you're going to do a Facebook ad, you can go into this graphic and you're going to know that they're moving from Broward County, Suffolk County, New York. So you can drop a pin where you know they're already coming from. There's a little article about the best restaurants in Charlotte. Kindred came in at #1. So I just posted that there. Real estate agents can go in and they can share directly from the page, or they can just hit the link and go grab the URL themselves and just create their own thing, which I think that's probably more what people do. If you have a question that you didn't want to raise your hand, you can send me a direct message through Facebook. I'm glad to help. We also do consultations, so I'll sit with you for 20 or 30 minutes and look at your page, just complimentary. I'll just give you what I think is going on or what you personally could do better to make your branding message stronger for the person that you are. And we do workshops once a month at our location. Yes?
Do you also set up people's websites or web pages?
I don't do websites personally, but I refer the work to someone else.
What about Facebook pages?
Yeah, I do their Facebook pages. So I'll do their banners and just set it up, all the stuff from the beginning, like their about section and their phone numbers and their call buttons, and just get it going. And then if it's a brand new page, you need to load at least 10 things before you ask someone to like it. That's the standard. The reason, you can imagine, if all you did was load your banner, your photo, and there's no content, you're asking people to like nothing. There's actually nothing there. So the industry standard is 10 posts. So I'll go in and load 10 things.
You could share from your personal page over.
You could if it was a business.
Right.
Yeah, a business related.
Because I don't have a business page yet. I have a personal one that I've been throwing
Right.
business stuff up there.
It's better to keep them separate though. It really is. Like your branding for your business is different than the person that you are. There's something different. And then Facebook actually in their terms and conditions, if you use your personal profile as a business page, like 100%, not like a little bit, that's against their terms and conditions. They want you, if you're running a business, to migrate over to their pages and to do that there. One of the ways they do that is if you have a personal profile, once you reach 5,000 followers, it cuts you off. It won't let you add any more people. It forces you to migrate over to a page because by then they figure out you must be a brand, a celebrity, somebody famous, some reason. Nobody has 5,000 friends. I don't care who you are, you do not have 5,000 friends. So yeah, I do that. I'll go in and set up people's stuff. Sometimes they'll hire me to just do the content. They don't want to think about it. And sometimes they do it themselves. The ones who hire me to do their content, I tell them, like, you're going to get a barrage of text messages from me for the first 30 days of things I want. And once I've got you going, we're going to be fine. But until then, I have to get them in the habit of shooting a video and just doing the things that are going to grow their page. And eventually it does. Like it enlarges their sphere of influence. Any other questions like that? All right. Our next workshop that we're going to do as far as Agent Experts is going to be at the OnCue offices. 2 weeks from today, we're doing one just on videos and photographs. So we're bringing in a videographer, David Woodruff, Hans Genesis TV and film. And he's going to come in and show how to tell better stories through video and photographs. And he was there a month ago, and he was really good. That's why we brought him back. He was really good.
Everybody signed a sign-in sheet here, and if Elizabeth's okay with it, I'm sure she would be. We'll send you the information for that class so that you guys could
Yeah.
RSVP for it.
Did you get it?
She didn't come around.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it go
Come back,
around.
it went the wrong way.
We can get it.
Oh.
So that's a good idea.
Having the next one?
Of course.
So the next one is
Diane.
December 7th. It's a
I sent
Thursday,
it this
10
way.
a.m. at our offices at OnCue. Our offices are over by 131 Main.
Okay.
They're right in that plaza up above People's Bank. Yeah.
We usually do classes here at least once a month as well, some kind of
Yeah.
technology or business building type of class. So
Yeah, if you
everybody's
haven't
welcome.
done those, I came to one last month on the 10 best apps for apps for realtors. It was good.
That was good.
Yeah, I went home and some of those I downloaded right away. A lot of them I was already using.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I already used that one.
Yeah.
But it's just, all of that stuff is how to do your business better, really. And that's where the Agent Experts idea came from, is the idea that a lot of times mortgage people might bring donuts or they bring something but it doesn't really help you build your business. It's not helpful. It's nice. You got a donut, coffee. But what you really need is information, education, best practices, somebody who's keeping on all of this and seeing where the trends are going so that you don't have to. So you don't have to watch. I was watching videos yesterday, like figuring some things out that I didn't know before, but somebody just to give you information that you need to make your business grow. And that's really the idea behind it.
And Elizabeth has several classes that she teaches, and hopefully we'll be able to get her back and do another one here. So we look forward to that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
That was
welcome.
very excellent.
Thank you.